Explain like I'm 5. Why do we need a growing population? It just seems like we could adjust our economy to compensate for a shrinking population. The answer of paying your working population more seems so much easier trying to get people to have kids they don't want. It would also slow the population shrink by making children more affordable. But a smaller population seems far more sustainable than an ever-growing one and a shrinking one. Seems like it should decrease suffering with the resources being less in demand. This is practically a credit card problem. They want to pay for today's issues by expecting income in the future. So all of our social programs' financial models are based on growth. We could easily prevent this by forecasting flat or a decrease in once, or if the funding in reserve gets too high, everyone gets a payout, but people hate taxes, and that is an easy political platform to run on. The truth no one wants to say is, yes, but it would be at a cost to GDP standard of living. How much is debatable? X200B. It is bad because we functionally borrow from the working age to pay for the non-working age. If you reduce the birth rate, that ratio falls, decreasing standard of living for either side of that equation, or distributed amongst them. We don't. The top one needs workers to make money for them while being paid next to nothing. With advancements in technology, we don't need that many workers to keep society moving. Nothing to do with capitalism or communism. Everything to do with dependency ratio. Also, the question isn't really reasonable. It's not about a binary population decline versus population expansion, but more so a ratio of many different factors including productivity, growth, etc. In other words, you can turn a bunch of dials on society and different groups will likely suffer at different proportions. The only thing that keeps an economy afloat is a body of productive workers willing to back up the currency. The only reason you'd have faith in a currency's future is if there will always be more new workers to replace the old ones, increasing output and productivity. If a country is depopulating, what's giving the currency value? Would you invest in a currency that is losing support and isn't projected to match or exceed its current economy? We don't need a growing population. What we need is a population that isn't shrinking extremely fast. Edit. The we as humanity. Guys, this has literally nothing to do with capitalism. It's not really a declining population exactly. It's the fact that population declines specifically when a result of low birth rates causes there to be a disproportionately low amount of young and working age people. Young to middle-aged people drive the economy. They produce and consume almost everything. You are correct. We don't. Capitalism is the only thing that demands constant growth and ever-expanding profits. The people don't. These comments read like recently graduated business majors from the 70s. The only grasp on economics being from a century-old textbook based in the pre-information age and pre-economic globalization, on countries with small populations and no possibility for technological advancements. Think of it like a giant Ponzi scheme. Population growth is needed so that the ones already here can have a better standard of living off the backs of the newborns once they get to working age and the immigrants. We don't. We built systems knowing it would be growing. But if we knew it would diminish or maintain, then we would create different systems expecting that instead. I hate to be curt, but because capitalism, and that's basically it. Capitalism requires constant growth and consumption. If we could accept the status quo or even some degrowth, it's not an issue. It's not even necessarily giving anything up because technological improvements should be able to make up or surpass the difference. That can be done, but you have to plan that way in advance. Things like pension plans and future healthcare need to be paid for up front, and nobody really wants to do that. Alright, since the stupid bot wants a full explanation instead of some to-the-point explanation that don't waste time. We do not. We need to let our current unsustainable, unstable Ponzi scheme balance weigh or order collapse so we can develop real working systems. No growth means no more babies. No more babies means no more people. The end of humanity. It's tricky because populations throughout history die out if they shrink too low. Shrinking population isn't bad, but it's difficult to judge where it starts to snowball past a point of no return. Everyone's giving really specific answers. But the root cause of it is money, currency, capital, whatever you want to call it. We need to move away from that sort of system we want to ever maintain a stable population. At the very root, capitalism is a system which humans employ as a resource management system. We need to employ a different resource management system if we want to maintain a stable population. That does not grow. There can't be any money in this system. Any system with money will demand a growing population for the stability of the system itself. People pay the taxes, taxes fund the wars, wars make the rich richer, the rich are greedy buttholes. We don't need a growing population. We live on a planet with finite resources. The notion of sustainable development is a lie perpetuated by capitalists. It's impossible to continue economic growth in a finite system. Humanity is doomed if we continue to sell our lives to the rich for them to deplete the resources until there's nothing left, and the one have all the wealth. Support your unions, folks. Workers are the only ones who are going to fight for a living wage, not politicians. Because people want to have children. You can try to stop them, but that's called genocide.